Hi, I'm Margaret and welcome to Garden School. Today I'm up at the pea patch and we're going to talk about a harvest that turned out a little bit weird, a little wonky, not what we had expected or hoped for, and maybe why that happened, and that was the cauliflower plants. But we're also going to talk about planting some beans, bush beans, in that space where the cauliflower was growing now that they've now that they've been harvested. And yes, we're going to do bush beans. I have some transplants. I started some seed a couple weeks ago, and we're going to talk about why I did that. But also then we have some seed that I've been soaking that we're going to put into that space. And maybe you'll find another little space here. So let's get on with the job, okay? So this is what happened with the cauliflower. I harvested it because it was from outer space. I'm still going to use it in stir fry and soup. I'll just have to trim it down a little bit. Now all I can say is that I'm guessing this had to do with temperature, day length, and perhaps watering. So there you go. That's weird. So here are my seeds. They're a variety called Royal Burgundy, a bush bean, and I've soaked them for a few hours. You can soak them overnight if you want to, or you can even plant them without soaking. I just thought I'd give them a little bit of heads up here. And so I'm just going to make a little depression in the soil, and the bean goes in, and then I'll measure. I'm going to maybe be pretty generous with my space here. I'm just going to space them apart and continue on down the row. And then when I'm done, I'll come back over and cover the seeds with about an inch of soil. Okay. So I covered those seeds back up with about an inch of soil, and then I put the spent straw that I'm using for mulch, over the top of that. I moved that back over. It's not going to prevent the light really from getting to the seed. It's not that thick, but it will help retain a little bit of moisture. Now I'm going to water, and then let's get on to the transplants. So why have I put this piece of wood in here, this 2x2? Well, I'm probably going to forget that, oh yeah, that's where I planted those bush beans. So that's my marker to help me remember. But you can put some kind of marker, it doesn't matter what it is, just to help you remember where you have interplanted something. And I'm going to be watering these things pretty judiciously. Once the germination starts, if water is withheld, it will stop and it won't restart. So that's why it's just important to keep that in mind. So this is the area I'm going to put the little transplants. I've just taken them out of their pot, and I'm going to just put them in this little trench and then backfill. And again, I'm going to move the mulch over toward, to cover up on the top to just retain a little moisture. For some reason, this part of the garden is more moist, and the soil is really nice and what I would call friable. It crumbles real easily. So I'll get this done. So I'll water these guys in, and I might want to be a little watchful of them too. We're going to have a couple of warmish days for us, so even though they do have some nice roots established, I'm still going to watch them, make sure they have enough water. Now, on the package of the seeds, it said that sowing inside to transplant later is not recommended, and that's because when the roots are disturbed, they can be susceptible to root diseases. But the reason I did that and started the transplants is because I had some area that I was intending to plant them in, but it wasn't free, it wasn't open. So this little area that I put these guys in, that's where I have early harvested some garlic. So it's just put something else in. And I left some spaces so that if some of those other slowpokes decide to germinate and catch up, I can pop them into. And if not, it doesn't matter. It's just going to be a lot more room for these wonderful plants. I can hardly wait for beans. Oh, they're so good. Now, the package of the seeds that I sowed said 55 days to maturity. And now it's July 1 today. Happy Canada Day. And so I would figure that probably middle end August, I should be picking some bush beans. That's going to be just fine with me. It's okay. These are really a supplement to the pole beans that I've already planted in another spot. Well, there's always more to learn in the garden. Bye-bye.